Hi, boys and girls. We're going to read today The Hard Hat for Kids, a story about 10 ways to be a great teammate. It was written by John Gordon and Lauren Gallagher, illustrated by Corey Scott. And this particular copy was autographed. It was signed by Lauren for our school. Be a great teammate. Go Big Red. Lauren. Michaela loved 3 things in life: dogs, triple chocolate ice cream cones, and basketball. Her grandfather was a coach, and Michaela started playing basketball before she could even walk. Michaela, whom everyone called Mickey, played basketball all the time. She even begged her dad to put a light over the garage so she could play at night. Can you see that? It's a little reflecty. Mickey dreamed of the day 5th grade would begin and she could play basketball for her school team. When the first day of 5th grade arrived, Mickey was ready. Well, she was ready for basketball at least. She's leaving school without her backpack and lunch. The first day of school seemed to drag on forever. Finally, Principal Rhodes' voice blared over the loudspeaker. All 5th graders interested in playing basketball, please report to the gym at dismissal. Mickey was out the door in a flash and halfway to the gym before Mr. Rhodes could finish his announcement. Welcome to Cayuga Basketball, said Coach Viola with a smile. We kick off every season with the Hard Hat Award. Mickey was instantly excited. She'd been practicing every day and was ready for the chance to compete and win. This challenge is about being a great teammate. It will take place over the next week. After our first game, the winner will be awarded this big red hard hat. The kids looked at him excitedly, but they were a little puzzled. Coach Viola chuckled. I bet you're wondering why the prize is a hard hat. Well, a hard hat is usually worn by construction workers when they build tall buildings, bridges, towers. Construction workers are known for working hard and working together to build something great. Oh my goodness. When I played lacrosse in college, my good friend George won our team's Hard Hat Award. He was the best teammate ever. To carry on this tradition, I will give the hard hat to the player who has been the best teammate throughout the next week. Mickey was mesmerized by Coach Viola's story, and she decided then and there that she wanted to win the hard hat. Mickey knew she was the best basketball player on the team. She looked around and wondered if there was anyone who could give her some competition. Her eyes fell on Jax, and she smiled at him. He was the nicest kid at school and a pretty good player, but he couldn't make a basket or even get close to the rim. During practice that week, Mickey dribbled circles around everyone and made all her shots. The day before their first game, Jax said to Mickey, You're a sharp shooter, Mickey. I hope I can learn to shoot like you one day. Mickey was confident that the hard hat was hers. The next day, Mickey couldn't stop thinking about the game or the hard hat. Finally, it was time for the starting players to take the court. The referee blew the whistle, and Mickey's teammate Joe jumped and tipped the ball to her. She made a quick spin move and dribbled to the basket and scored. Mickey was a scoring machine. She already had 10 points when Coach Viola took her out. Mickey missed Jax's high five because she was too busy stumping over to Coach Viola to complain. Coach, why'd you take me out? I scored more points than anyone. Well, you were great out there, Mickey. Now it's time to be a great teammate from the bench, said Coach. How are we supposed to be a great teammate if you're not even in the game? She mumbled to herself. Nice game today, and it was a great first week of practice. Now we have an award to give out, said Coach Viola as he reached for the big, red, shiny hard hat. Mickey held her breath. After a lot of thought, I am excited to announce that the hard hat award goes to Jax. Congratulations on winning the hard hat award and for being such a great teammate. As Mickey and her grandfather walked across the gym, her grandfather said, "Great game, Mickey, but why the sad face?" "Pops, I was the best player on the team and I scored the most points, but I still didn't win the hard hat award." "Well, Mickey, there's a difference between being the best player and being the best teammate," said her grandfather. "There is?" asked Mickey. "It's sure a mystery to me." "Solving a mystery always begins with some good old-fashioned detective work and gathering clues," said her grandfather. "Why don't you start by watching Jax? Watch what he does at practice and during games. Even watch him while he's on the bench." "Here you go. Every good detective needs a notebook for gathering clues," said her grandfather with a smile. "Thanks, Pops." From that day on, Mickey imagined she was a detective. She watched Jax and searched for clues in the gym, on the court, during water breaks, on the bench, even after practice, and she put all the clues in her notebook. After a week of detective work, she couldn't wait to share the clues with her grandfather that night at dinner. Work hard, effort. Mickey opened her notebook to show Pops her detective work. "I needed a way to make sense of all these clues. So for each one, I wrote a word or phrase to describe what Jax did. For example, he was always at the gym early to practice his shooting, so I used the words work hard and effort. Even when our team was losing, Jax would cheer us on and shout out positive words that made us work harder and play better, so I used the words believe and encourage. When Jax was on the bench, he watched his teammates play and always tried to motivate us. He made us believe we could win, so I used the words motivate and optimism. After every game, Jax would shake the referee's hand and say thank you. He also thanked Coach Viola after every game in practice and always stayed after to help clean the locker room, so I used the word respect. He huddled us up before every game and always shared positive energy. He never walked by a teammate without a smile and a high five, and he was the first to jump off the bench with excitement when one of his teammates did something great on the court, so I used the words energy and enthusiasm. If you were having a bad practice or not playing well, Jax always said something helpful that made you feel better. He wasn't the best player, but he made everyone around him better. He is a great friend, so I wrote the word friend. Wow, you've done a lot of work here, Mickey. So, what do you make of it all? Asked her grandfather. Well, I felt all these words were key to solving the mystery. When I put them in the right order, the answer was right there in front of me. Work hard and effort and believe in your teammates and encourage and friend and optimism and respect and energy and motivate and enthusiasm equals question mark. I circled the first letter of each word and I was able to crack the code. All of Jack's teammate skills spell out we before me. You see, Pops, Jax always puts the team first. And now that feeling is starting to spread, said Mickey excitedly. What do you mean? Her grandfather asked. Jax once told me he wanted to be able to shoot like me. Before, I only focused on being better than him, but now I want him to be the best he can be. He's shown us that we're all better when we put the team before ourselves. Well, my little detective, I think you've discovered the keys to being a great teammate," Mickey's grandfather said with a smile. And from that day forward, Mickey and Jax met every day to practice their shooting. Mickey taught him all the shooting tips she had learned from her grandfather. One day, after cleaning up the locker room, they walked home together. "Oh, I can't believe the championship game is tomorrow," said Jax. "Coach says we have a good shot at beating the Lions." "With your new shooting skills, the Lions have no chance," said Mickey, as she smiled and headed home. The next day, the whole school came to watch Cayuga play in the championship. As time clicked away, Cayuga was still down by a point when Coach Viola called a timeout. "We have time for one last play. Let's go with Big Red, the play where Ezra passes the ball to Mickey for the shot." Mickey had waited for this moment her whole life. It was her chance to make the winning shot in a championship game. She looked over at Jax and suddenly had a different idea. "Coach, I have 2 players on me, and I don't think I'll be able to get a shot off. What if I fake a shot and then pass it to Jax?" she said hopefully. Coach Viola looked surprised and then smiled. "Great idea, Mickey. Jax, get ready." The whistle blew and Ezra passed the ball to Mickey, who instantly had 2 players on her. She quickly faked the shot, causing the defenders to jump in the air. She then delivered a perfect bounce pass to Jax, who was ready and waiting. Jax caught the ball. He looked at Mickey and she nodded, and the gym was silent. Jax bent his legs, just like he and Mickey had practiced, and then he jumped and released the ball toward the basket. Time seemed to stand still as all eyes followed the ball through the air. Swish! The buzzer sounded. The whole gym erupted with cheers. Cayuga Elementary had won the championship. After the game, Coach Viola called the team into the locker room one last time. "I am so proud of you, of all of you, for making this such a great season. You really came together as a team and showed what the hard hat is all about. And congrats to our hard hat winner, Jax, for a fearless winning basket." Jax then stood up and said, "Thanks, Coach, but there's someone who deserves the hard hat more than me." Jax walked over to Mickey and put the hard hat on her head. "You helped me become a better shooter. You passed me the ball. You encouraged me. You are not only a great player, you are also a great teammate, and you deserve the hard hat." The team cheered and clapped as Mickey smiled. In that moment, Mickey realized that the hard hat itself wasn't important. Being a great teammate and making your team better was what mattered most. She discovered that being a great teammate means that sometimes you're the star and other times you help your teammate become the star. When Coach Viola went to the locker room the next day, he found the hard hat sitting in its place on the shelf and a message taped above it. The message said, "Dear Coach, we decided to leave the hard hat here for the next team, along with the 10 important ways to be a great teammate. Just as your teammate George inspired you, we want to inspire people as well. Thanks for everything, Coach. Mickey and Jax, we before me." And here's the hard hat. Work hard, effort, believe, encourage, friend, optimism, respect, energy, motivate, and enthusiasm. There you go. This was the hard hat for kids.